It was the middle of December in New York City, and the streets were alive with the glow of Christmas lights and the soft hum of carols playing from store speakers. The air smelled of roasted chestnuts and fresh snow, and despite the festive atmosphere, one man felt completely alone. Ethan Carter had spent most of his 32 years chasing success. Growing up in a rough neighborhood, he had learned early that money was the key to happiness. His father had walked out when he was 10, leaving his mother to work multiple jobs just to keep a roof over their heads. The struggle had hardened Ethan, and he vowed never to be poor again. By the time he was 30, he had become one of the youngest real estate moguls in the city. His name was well known in business circles, his apartment was in a luxury high-rise, and his bank account was overflowing. But something felt empty. It wasn't until a cold winter evening, as he walked past a small diner on his way home from a business meeting, that everything changed. Outside the diner sat a young girl, no older than 7, bundled in a thin jacket that was too small for her. Her cheeks were red from the cold, and she was clutching a piece of cardboard with shaky hands. The sign read, "Hungry. Please help." Ethan hesitated. He had walked past countless homeless people in the city before, always telling himself he couldn't help everyone. But something about the girl's eyes, deep pools of sadness and hope, made him stop. He glanced around. There was no adult with her. He crouched down. "Where's your mom or dad?" The girl bit her lip, looking uncertain. Then she whispered, "Mom's at work. She cleans offices. I wait here for her. She lets you stay out here alone." Ethan frowned. The girl nodded. "She doesn't want me in the shelter. It's not safe." Ethan glanced at her thin jacket and the small, shivering body inside it. He sighed and stood up. "Come on," he said, nodding toward the diner. "Let's get you something warm." The girl hesitated but followed him inside. The warmth of the diner washed over them, and Ethan noticed how her tiny hands pressed against the heater near the door. They found a booth, and he ordered her the biggest meal on the menu. As she ate, she spoke between bites. Her name was Lily. Her mom worked 2 jobs, but the money was never enough. Sometimes they could afford the shelter, but sometimes they had to sleep in bus stations. She used to go to school, but after her dad left, things got harder. Ethan listened, a lump forming in his throat. He had grown up with struggles, but never like this. He thought about his expensive suits, the gourmet meals he took for granted, the luxury car he had parked outside. He had always believed success was measured in wealth, yet this little girl sitting across from him had more strength and courage than he had ever known. When Lily finished eating, Ethan asked, "What do you want for Christmas?" She looked down at her empty plate and thought for a moment. Then, with a shy smile, she said, "I just want my mom to smile again." The words hit Ethan like a punch to the gut. How long had it been since he had truly cared about someone else's happiness? He had spent years building his empire, yet he couldn't remember the last time he had done something selfless. That night, he walked Lily back to the shelter where her mother would meet her. But he couldn't sleep. He kept thinking about her, about the thousands of people struggling just to survive. And then, for the first time in his life, he made a decision that wasn't about profit. The next morning, he returned to the shelter with bags of warm clothing, blankets, and enough food to last weeks. He met Lily's mother, a woman with tired eyes but a kind smile, and offered her a job at one of his companies with stable pay. Tears welled in her eyes as she accepted. Word spread quickly about Ethan's act of kindness, and something changed inside him. He started a program to help struggling families find stable work and housing. He donated to shelters and even spent weekends volunteering. The more he gave, the fuller his heart became. He no longer measured his success by his bank account, but by the smiles he helped create. And for the first time in years, he felt truly happy. Lily's wish had come true. Her mother smiled again. And so did Ethan. Because happiness, he learned, grows in hearts that know how to share.